Hi and welcome to the video. I'm here at the LAX Hilton because today I'll be flying from Los Angeles down to Miami with American Airlines on board one of their 777-300 aircraft. Now, American normally operate the majority of their flights on this route with a collection of their standard narrow-body aircraft, but they do usually operate at least one service a day using a wide-body, and that's the one that I'm on today. Now, the great thing about this is, even though I'm only travelling in economy on this flight, they don't sell the premium economy cabin separately. So if you either choose to pay an additional fee, or if, like me, you have suitable status with either American or one of their One-World partners, in my case British Airways, you're able to select a seat in the Economy Plus section free of charge. So I'll be trying that out today. It'll be my first time in their premium economy cabin and trying out their premium economy seat, which I believe is very similar to the domestic first seats that they use on their short haul routes. So I'm really excited to try that out. I'm also excited to visit Miami for the first time. I've never flown there before. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let's go. You join me for an early morning start here at LAX's Terminal 4, a few hours before my 8:30 AM scheduled departure. I'd arrived at the same terminal the previous day on a connecting flight from New York's JFK Airport, and you can see the video for that by clicking on the link in the description below. As I had already downloaded my boarding pass on the AA mobile app and was only travelling with hand luggage, I was able to head straight along to security. Thanks to TSA pre-check, I was quickly airside and on my way to the familiar surroundings of the LAX Flagship Lounge. After a friendly morning greeting from the lounge agent, I was handed my very high-tech ticket to the Flagship Lounge on the upper floor. When you arrive upstairs, you're greeted by another set of agents who will either direct you to the Admirals Club to your right, or if you're in possession of the magic ticket, to the far superior Flagship Lounge on the left. While American operate Admirals Club lounges at the majority of the airports that they fly from, they only have flagship lounges in Chicago, Dallas-Fort Worth, Miami, and here in Los Angeles. They used to have one at JFK, but this was renamed as the Greenwich Lounge and is a joint lounge with British Airways. It's also due to open a new flagship lounge in Philadelphia in late 2025. These lounges tend to have a superior food and beverage selection on offer, and represent the upper end of the American Airlines lounge offering, with the exception of the Soho and Chelsea lounges in JFK. The LAX Flagship Lounge is a light and airy space, with full-height windows offering excellent views out over the apron. It's broken up into a few different seating areas, and you'll find a small refreshment area just as you enter the main part of the lounge. Given the early hour, the lounge was unsurprisingly quiet when I first arrived. The largest part of the lounge is home to the buffet and has a good mix of soft seating, with the seats towards the rear half of the lounge being set up with tables and chairs for dining. There are two long self-service buffet stations to the left, with the first of these serving a range of pastries, fresh fruit and cold cuts, and the second serving a range of hot breakfast items. Along the wall behind these you'll find a range of hot and cold drinks, along with self-serve spirits and a couple of fridges with beer and soft drinks in them. There is also a made-to-order omelette station to the rear of this area. As I hadn't yet had breakfast, I grabbed myself one of the empty tables by the window and had a thoroughly unhealthy yet delicious selection of cinnamon French toast, crispy bacon and a sausage patty to set me up for the day. After breakfast, I decided to head along and grab a comfy seat next to the window. With the sun starting to come up, I was finally able to see some of the many aircraft arriving and departing from this side of Terminal 4, as well as across to the Tom Bradley International Terminal on the far side, including some views of the aircraft I'd be flying on to Miami, which had arrived earlier that morning from Sydney, Australia. I decided to head across to my departure gate, leaving plenty of time to make the long walks from Terminal 4 to the Tom Bradley International Terminal, also known as Terminal B. Thankfully, the terminals at LAX are all connected airside, meaning you don't have to re-clear security, which makes it so much easier when connecting between flights at different terminals. The Tom Bradley terminal is where the majority of international flights depart. Originally opened in June 1984 ahead of the Los Angeles Olympic Games, it has undergone several expansions and refurbishments since then, and is a really pleasant and modern airport with an array of shops and restaurants. Reaching gate 157, which is near the end of this side of the terminal, it wasn't too long before boarding was called.
Thank you.
My aircraft for today's flight was this 10-year-old Boeing 777-300. American operate their Boeing 777-300s in a 4-class configuration, with the forward section consisting of 2 rows of first class and 2 rows of business class, with a much larger 11-row business class cabin in the main body of the aircraft, behind which you'll find 4 rows of premium economy and then a further 25 rows of economy. After a long walk through the business class cabin, I arrived at my seat 18A in the last row of premium economy. American's premium economy seats are based on the Collins MIQ seats, which are very similar to their domestic short-haul first-class seats. There are a total of 28 seats laid out in a 2-4-2 configuration with a 38-inch seat pitch between rows. There's plenty of storage provided thanks to the dedicated overhead bins above each seat. There was a bedding pack left in each seat, and I'll come back to that shortly after I've had a look around the seat. Under one armrest you'll find the headphone jack along with a universal power socket, and there's a small storage slot suitable for a tablet or maybe a small laptop. In the other arm you'll find the tray table, which folds out easily and was reasonably sturdy. To one side you'll find the seat recline button. These seats have a 6-inch recline and the IFE remote control. Individual air vents and reading lights are also provided overhead, and the seat back houses an 11.5-inch tilting IFE touchscreen, which was reasonably responsive. There's a coat hook to the side and a literature pocket below the IFE screen, with a larger storage pouch at the bottom of the seat. There's also a handy fold-out footrest provided. When I arrived at my seat, I found a bedding pack comprising a small pillow, blanket, headphones and an amenity kit. Strangely, this was only provided on the outbound flight and was missing on the return leg, so I'm not sure what is usually provided on this route. With boarding completed, we pushed back from stand and began our taxi over to runway 25 right. Our route today would take us east over Arizona, New Mexico and Texas, before turning southeast over Mississippi and continuing down the west coast of Florida before turning for our final approach.
If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos as they come out. And if you'd like to support me more directly, you can buy me a coffee via the link in the description below. Before long, we were above the clouds and into the clear blue skies above. I had a quick look at the Wi-Fi provided on board, which gave the option of $25 for a 2-hour pass or $29 for the full flight. But whether you think this is good value or not is going to vary on how much you need Wi-Fi during the flight. I wasn't really sure what to expect in this flight in terms of service, given that this was just an economy cabin. So I sat back and watched some of their in-flight entertainment, enjoying the view from the window. Around an hour after takeoff, there were finally signs of service as the cabin crew came through with a complimentary selection of drinks and a small pack of pretzels. It's worth noting that, as the premium economy cabin is technically sold as main cabin extra seating, passengers in these seats receive complimentary beer and wine in addition to the usual soft drinks. No meal was offered despite this being nearly a 5-hour flight, and while I know this is the norm for most American Airlines domestic flights, it seems to run contrary to American's own website, which clearly states that a meal is served in main cabin on select flagship transcon flights, including this route between Los Angeles and Miami. I'd be interested to know which flights this actually happens on, if not their wide-body flagship service. I opted for a can of Sprite to go with my pretzels. After that, the majority of the remaining flight was spent between a combination of watching more Lord of the Rings movies and in-flight entertainment, looking at the moving map, and of course enjoying the views out of the window. I also paid a quick visit to one of the toilets in our cabin. What can I say? It was an unremarkable but clean and functional toilet in the sky. I hardly saw any crew in the cabin during the flight, which I guess isn't surprising when the economy service is so basic. But after a couple of hours, I asked one as they passed through if I could get another drink, which was no problem. Had I realised there was going to be a second drink service passing through the cabin about 20 minutes later, I'd likely have waited for it instead. Having access to IFE certainly helped the time pass on this flight, so I'm not sure how enjoyable this would have been on a narrow body with no seatback screen. Before long, we were beginning our descent towards Miami Airport. So, what did this flight cost me? I paid £208 return for my economy ticket between LA and Miami, with a total distance of 4,684 miles. That equates to about 4.45 pence per mile, which is excellent value in my book. Unfortunately, due to a glitch with my camera, it stopped recording just before we touched down on the runway, so we rejoined the footage just after touchdown on runway 9 before our taxi over to gate D21. Overall, it was a perfectly decent flight. It's a real luxury to be able to travel on a wide body on a domestic route such as this, especially when you're able to fly in a premium economy seat with such good legroom for no additional cost. The only other time that I've flown in main cabin extra was in a narrow body, and it was a great experience too. And you can check out the video for that trip by clicking on the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to help support the channel, you can buy me a coffee via the description and the link below.